One of the most exciting things about designing your collection is finally getting a physical sample. It's also one of the most expensive things about designing your collection. Not only does it cost you money, but it also costs you and the manufacturer time. So the last thing you need is to spend all that money and wait all that time just to get a poorly fitting garment. And the worst and most annoying part is seeing the fit issues that were completely avoidable. And this, friends, is where CLO becomes tremendously valuable. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikkel Drew Pelham. I talk about digital fashion design tools, how to communicate your ideas clearly, and how to turn creativity into a sustainable fashion business. If you're tired of guessing what fashion software to use, what skills to learn, and what actually matters as you build your brand, this channel is for you. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you can keep learning with me. I'm sure you already know, especially if you've been watching this channel, that CLO can help you visualize your design on a digital avatar. And different from just generating a rendering in AI, with CLO or one of the other 3D fashion software tools, you're creating something that you know actually fits a specific size, body type. You can even customize your avatar's posture. So when you dress your avatar in this design, you know with a very high degree of certainty what this garment is going to look like on a person with those measurements. What's also great about this is that you can catch not only aesthetic, but obvious fit issues before you even cut fabric. Now, let me be crystal clear about this point. I am not at all saying that this will allow you to totally skip getting a physical sample and fitting it on a real body. What I am saying though is that creating a digital proto first will give you better information about your design so that you can resolve some basic fit issues, sometimes even more complex ones if you're a more technical designer, so that when you do request your first physical sample, it should be pretty spot on. Now, you might be thinking, Mikkel, my manufacturer is making my pattern, so this doesn't really apply to me. I hear you, but here's the thing. Even if you're not the one creating the pattern, seeing your design in 3D gives you a much clearer picture of what you're asking for and what to look for when that sample comes back. You'll walk into that conversation with your manufacturer with more confidence and more specific feedback. So yes, this is for you too. So let me just run through 4 scenarios where CLO can help you correct a fit issue before you have to find out it's an issue after the sample's been made. Before you start any of this work, you need to make sure you've solidified your fabric. If you worked with a manufacturer in the past, you already know that one of the requirements is to hand off a physical swatch of the fabric. If they're making your pattern, and even if they're just throwing the sample, they need to understand the physical properties of the fabric, starting with, is it a knit or a woven? That alone changes how you create the pattern and definitely affects the fit. If you don't have your own custom fabrics that have been tested, which many of us don't, CLO has a pretty good library of various fabrics that you can choose from. I normally suggest looking for one that is similar weight and fiber content. That will usually ensure similar physical properties. You can also try the CLO Marketplace. I also have a list of websites that I share in the materials lesson in my CLO course, but a lot of them you can just do an internet search for. Okay, now that fabric is chosen, let's get into some of the fit issues. This is probably one of the most common fit issues and one of the most satisfying to catch in CLO because the software basically does the work for you. CLO has fit maps that show you stress, strain, and pressure across the garment. You can access these in the 3D window under the display menu. When you turn on the fit map, areas of the garment that are under tension will show up in warmer colors. Yellows, oranges, reds, and areas with good ease will stay in cooler tones. If you're seeing a lot of red, especially across the hips, chest, or thighs, that's your garment telling you it needs more room. On mine, you can see that all of my maps look pretty good except the strain map, which shows how much the fabric is stretching. And since I'm using a woven, that red is a bit of a problem because if a woven is being stretched to its limitations, that's an indication that it might be too tight. Now, before you start adjusting, this is where your fabric choice really matters. A stiff woven is going to show more stress than a stretchy knit, even at the same measurements. So make sure you're simulating with the right fabric first. Otherwise, you might add ease that you don't actually need. Once you've confirmed the fabric is right and the fit map is still showing tension, go back to your 2D pattern and add ease in the areas that need it. Resimulate and check the fit map again. You're looking for that even, cool tone read across the garment that tells you it has more room to move without pulling. And one of my favorite ways, and probably is one of the simplest ways to double check this, have the avatar change poses. If your garment is too tight, a simple arm raise or walking pose will show you immediately, sometimes dramatically. A burst seam is a pretty clear sign you still got work to do. This one is simple, but it's one of those things that's easy to miss until you see the garment on a body, and CLO makes it immediately obvious. Take a look at the sleeve here. Depending on the style, you want your sleeve to hit at very specific points, whether that's the wrist bone, the base of the thumb, or somewhere in between. And right now, it's clearly not landing where it should. The fix here is straightforward. In the 2D pattern window, select the sleeve pattern piece and just extend the hem. For a basic sleeve like this, it's as simple as adding length to the bottom edge. Resimulate and check the 3D window to see where it's landing now. What I love about doing this in CLO is that you can see the sleeve length in context on the body in proportion to the rest of the garment, rather than just measuring it on the flat pattern and hoping it looks correct when it's sewn. This is one that beginners don't always notice right away, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. The shoulder seam should sit right at the top of the shoulder, not sliding toward the front, not creeping toward the back. When it's off, it throws the whole garment out of alignment, and it affects how the sleeve hangs, how the neckline sits, and how the garment reads on the body overall. In CLO, this is easy to spot. Just look at the avatar from the front and the side. If the seam is visibly sitting forward or backward from the natural shoulder point, that's your issue. To fix it, you're going back to your 2D pattern and shifting fabric from one side of the shoulder seam to the other. If the seam is sitting too far forward, you'll take a little from the front shoulder and add it to the back. If it's sitting too far back, the opposite. The amount is usually pretty small. Even a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch can make a noticeable difference. Resimulate and check from the front and side again. You're looking for that seam to sit right at the center of the shoulder. I don't know about you, but I do not like my pants looking like this. I like them to hit the top of my shoe with a little bit of a break and cover the top of the back of my shoe. Now, yes, your inseam is usually what you go by, but what also makes a difference is the placement of the pant on the body. I usually like my pants sitting right below the belly button, which is where these are. And if they're this short now, then they are way too short. There are some measurement tools you can use for this, but I tend to just incrementally increase the length of the pattern and resimulate. And especially for a casual pant pattern like this, where the legs are pretty straight, it's fairly simple to increase the length bit by bit until you like what you see in the 3D window. Also, for these pants, the length only needs to increase by a couple of inches to hit the length I need, so it's not a dramatic change. So these are 4 common fit issues you'll likely run into at some point as you start working in CLO. And there are also 4 clear examples of why having a digital proto in your workflow is worth it. CLO can handle much more complex fit scenarios than what we cover today, but even at this level, catching these issues before you cut fabric saves you real time and real money. And that's really the point. A digital proto doesn't replace your physical fitting, but it makes sure that when you walk into that fitting, you're solving the right problem, not the ones you could have caught from your desk. Thanks for watching this week's video. If you want to test your fit or review what your designs will actually look like on your body size and shape before you pay for a physical garment, make sure you check out my CLO beginner course. I recently relaunched it with updated lessons, more practice exercises, and extra resources. And there's even a free trial option so you can get started without any commitment. Just click the link in the description to see the course outline and sign up. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with another designer if you found it helpful. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time.